we go. This is episode, I got to look here. These numbers are getting so big. 98. Episode 98 of the NoLaughTrack podcast. My name is Justin Severson, and I'm here. It's a return from episode 27, which was 75 years ago. We did that one, and now he's back. Dave Fulton is back. Welcome back.
Thanks, man. Always a pleasure.
Yeah. You, let's see, now you live in...
I live in London. I'm from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
You live in London. When did you, where were you last week?
I was actually gigging in Spokane, Washington last week. And then the week before that, I was in London doing the Comedy Store. And the week before that, I was in Chamonix, France.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you could make up names of cities.
I know. Nobody's going to check at all. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like... because I'm a writer, and you send in these submissions, or they're looking for writers, and they go, "Oh, include your CV, your resume." And the last one, I said, I can make up a lot of shit, and there's no way you could check on this. So here's a link to my IMDb Pro page.
Yeah, Who knows? Who knows what's on there? So when did you get to town? Monday? Yesterday?
No, I got into town. Yesterday. But I'm kind of post jet lag. Yeah, I mean, because it's a 6-hour time difference. So I've been kind of, after being on this side of the pond for 9 days already, it's been good to kind of not fall asleep at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I bet.
On stage. Yeah.
Yeah, how could you possibly make up for that? Like, you'd have to have the shows in mid-afternoon or in the middle of the night, which would be the middle.
Yeah, mid-afternoon, yeah. So, yeah, or you just, and the thing is, you can take a nap during the day, but that screws up your clock. And what really sucks is you can force yourself to stay up late. I've done. I'm like, all right, stay up, caffeine, iced tea, whatever it takes. Trucker stay alert pills.
Sure.
And then, but never fails. Because I'm 8 hours ahead. Is like 4 o'clock in the morning. Boing. Wide awake. Shit. Oh. Yeah. So you get up and you you eat some melatonin, you have a wank, you try to go back to sleep. It just doesn't fucking work.
That means the same thing over here and over there, right?
Wank? Yeah. Fucking crack one off. Snap one off.
Actually, we talked about that the first time we heard what was it?
I got in trouble for saying wanker on BBC Breakfast.
Yeah, we don't have to do that again. People can go back and listen to it. Yeah. It's an awesome story. Absolutely. In fact, I posted the video on the NoLaughTrack Facebook page this morning. Yeah. I found it on there.
Nice.
Like a minute-long clip. 33,000 views.
33 now?
I think so.
I thought it was... Well, yeah, I knew it was over 30,000. I just didn't... Yeah, it was funny when that happened. My phone blew up afterwards. Oh, my God.
Still living out there.
Yeah.
Now, last time you were in town early enough to do the open mic here.
Yeah, that was great, man. You have a great open mic here in Minneapolis. I like the fact it's no cover. It's all introed in the back. The newer you are, the less time you get, and the earlier on the show you are, and the place is up for it. I mean, I tell people about it in the UK how it works, and like, how does that work? I'm like, because they kept doing it.
Yeah,
and so there's a couple of places like that. There's a place in the UK called Old Rope that happens on a Monday night. And essentially what happens is it's an open mic, but a kind of an open mic for established acts. Sure. And the rule is if you do some of your act, your old material, there's rope on stage, like a noose on stage. If you do old material, you have to hold on to the rope to signal to the crowd that this is old material. And then you let go of the rope and go, this is the new stuff kind of thing. And if you don't, if you do old stuff and you don't grab the rope and the crowd doesn't bust you, whoever's emceeing will bust you. They'll go on stage and go, big hand for Dave Fulton. Oh, by the way, that whole bit about the monkey driving the car, no, he's been doing that for years. Come on, Dave. That kind of stuff. Come on, let's boo Dave. Like, boo.
So it's a public shaming.
Yeah, a bit. But they're very supportive on new material. And if the new material dies, you're like, okay, well, I got to work that out more or something like that. So
is that a show they charge for?
Yeah, they charge for that. Yeah. And it's at a place called the Phoenix, which is in central London off of Oxford Street. But, Old Rope. It's great.
How was the show last night?
Last night was good. I mean, numbers were down, but I don't care. Honestly, I've done shows for 4 people. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and a good bill. With Earl and Shannon. Nice folks. I knew him from the 20th anniversary show, which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, and it's kind of cool because the people, they look me up and they show up, and I'm recording another CD this week.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, with Dan Schleisel.
Oh, yeah.
For Stand Up Records, and so he set up last night and saw me, and I got off stage after 50 minutes. I said, "Any overlap?" And he says, "One."
Wow.
One joke.
Look at that.
So I'm like, "Oh, okay." So yeah. Yeah, so that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to him trying to piece all that together.
He did that Stand Up Records for people that don't know by name, and he did the last one of yours, right?
He does everybody.
Yeah.
From people you like to people you don't like. So now I got a lot of time for Dan. He's he likes what's going on. I just wish he was a little bit faster on the edit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as he's known for not being, cranking stuff out right away, but he's getting better.
Well, that's funny because that you say that because you know Dave Mordahl.
Yeah.
Well, he did Mordahl's CD,
right,
and it was recorded several years ago. It took a really long time to be released, and then the last person holding up the release of this was me. Because Mordahl asked me to name all the tracks on the CD.
No.
And he gave it to me, gave me like an early copy, and I sat on it for like 2 months.
Oh,
and then I was at the club, and I ran into Dan a few times. Hey, I don't mind to be pushy, but Mordahl's telling me that it's up to you to get this to me, and it's already been a few years. Like, oh, boy. So, but I came through.
Nice.
I was privileged enough to be asked to do that. It was really cool.
I like Mordahl. Yeah, I like Dave.
Mordahl's one of the best.
Yeah.
When you said the name of the comedy club over there, it brought a question up. In that, are there ridiculous names of comedy clubs in England like there are in the United States? I mean, Acme's a great name, but we got the Chuckle Hut and the Funny Fingers and whatever.
Yeah, that was actually Dana Gould had that line. I'm playing Uncle Chucky's Fuckle Hut. Think about it. I mean,
but because I imagine the Brits are so can come across so distinguished and everything.
No, they're idiots.
They're idiots.
They really are. They're hiding behind an accent, on a regular basis.
Yeah, and
that whole elitist kind of we're educated and we gave you the language and all that kind of shit and I like the fact they have this massive sense of humor because they had an empire and blew it. So, but they still think they got game. They still think the entire world is waiting for their opinion. Oh my God, there's Ukraine's going to shit, and there's these horrible kidnappings in Africa, and miners have died in Turkey. We should know. Wait. What is England going to say? What is Britain going to say? We should get their opinion. No. You have 5 nuclear devices. We gave you 4 of them. So. But they do have. There's a place called Outside the Box. There's but then the Stand, the Glee, the Raw was another one.
Raw,
yeah, that's in Liverpool. Doing shows in Liverpool is weird because everybody in Liverpool is convinced they're way funnier than anybody else on the planet. So when you get on stage there, you immediately have a strike against you. And in fact, I'm an American, and I obviously have no concept of what humor is. They hate me immediately. I mean, I've had this, honestly, dude, like once or twice a week for 14 years, somebody would go, Bubba, this and that. Well, Dave's an American. Oh, okay, well, yeah. I mean, either jokingly or seriously. Oh, well, you wouldn't understand this. Oh, look at you, the American, or oh, you're not as fat as I thought you'd be. I mean, there's all these kind of little jabs constantly.
Not as fat as I thought you'd be.
Yeah, all that kind of. And the Canadians are the worst, man. The Canadians, they get on stage. The first thing they want the audience to know is they're not Americans. Because they're shit scared of being blamed for stuff that they were afraid to get involved with in the first place. And so I had to start writing anti-Canadian material.
Seriously?
Yeah, you do, I mean, I couldn't give a shit, but
it's not fair.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's weird. I've friends of mine are Canadians, and we'll be in the green room because we'll all be on the bill because the way the shows run there, they'll have 5 acts with an MC, and we're all doing 20 minutes. And they're like, hey, Dave, good to see you. Yeah, you too, Phil. Wow, this and that. Hey, I got to go on. Yeah, you bet. Right. And they'll get on stage going, hey, the Americans here? Yeah, I fucking hate Americans.
What?
Yeah, they suck. And, I'm in the green room going, I thought we were just hugging it out a minute ago, man.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah, totally. And then you get up, yeah, see you later, Dave. Yeah, see you later, Phil. And, yeah, that kind of thing. So it's a weird one. But the thing is, I blow shit on Americans, too. I mean, I'll do shows in London and Manchester or whatever, some of the big towns, or even all over the world. And I call out, I go, any Americans in the room? And it's great because the Americans who've been living there a while will go kind of raise a finger or just kind of, or their friend will go, he is, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But the Americans who just showed up are like, woohoo, yeah! And I just tell them, so you haven't learned to shut the fuck up in Europe. You're still a target, you asshole.
Yeah.
But I had a weird thing happen. I was going to tell Lewis. I was when I was at the Comedy Store, I think it was Friday night, they said, oh, there's some people here to see some of the comedians. Or no, that's what. The MC went on stage, and they said, oh, what are you doing here? We've came here to see comics, with people we know. So I got on stage. I said, the Americans. And I hear this, yeah. And I go, the guy, I'll never forget, he was sitting off stage right. And I'm like, oh, wow, man, where are you from? He goes, Minnesota. And I jokingly always do this, oh, my God, Minnesota, I hate Minnesota. And
right.
So he laughs, and then I go, no, seriously, man, where are you from? He goes, Minneapolis. And I go, wow, I'll be there, next, in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I said, what brings you out to the Comedy Store? And he looks at me and he goes, seriously? I went, yeah. And he goes, I came here to see you. I went, really? He's like, yeah, I saw you in Acme about 5 years ago.
Get the fuck out of here.
And I was just like, it's one of those things where I'm in front of 400 people and I suddenly look at this guy going, whoa, I don't know how to take that.
No.
I really don't know how to. I'm not very good with fans. I never have been. I can't believe anybody would follow anybody for anything. And I was just like, oh, shit, okay. Well, where do you live now? And he's like, I live on the island of Guernsey, which is the Channel Islands. So we talked a little bit about that in front of 400 people. And I was just like, well, tell your family to come see me at Acme, and I'll buy him a beer. And he's like, okay. I said, was I any good 5 years ago? He goes, I showed up here, didn't I? And I went, okay.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was weird. It's kind of like, man, this world thing is getting smaller and smaller on me.
Wow. Did you buy him a beer or anything?
Well, no, I was doubled up. But I asked the bar, and I said, this guy comes over, get him a beer. So, yeah, they did. So, but, yeah, it was weird. I'm like, well, I saw you in Acme. What? Holy shit. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I was looking at your. I want to catch up with some other things with you here. I was looking at your Facebook page.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and we're gonna hit all the hard stuff here. No, you said of being in Acme this week, you're hoping to sling jokes and stop by the House of Balls to see if Alan got a new cat.
Yeah.
The hell does that mean?
House of Balls. It's the studio over there at just across the bridge, where Sadie and Moose's is. Mm-hmm. It's around the corner of that. It's called House of Balls. He's been there forever. He used to be in the old buckskin tan hide place where the Federal Reserve is, or whatever the fuck that is.
Oh, just down the street from here. Yeah.
Used to be that old building. He was there, and now he's around the corner from Sadie and Moose's, and he got his start carving bowling balls. And the guy who runs it, a guy named Alan Christensen. I've known him 20 years, and he's into art cars. He's got a pickup truck covered in bowling material, and he goes to Burning Man every year. And he's a great guy. And he used to have these massively fucking fat cats, and one of them stroked out. So and he was going to get another one because they were huge. It was just like trailer trash cats. But and I was going to see if he got a new cat. Yeah, and the thing is, because he has a day job, he's a journeyman electrician. He only works there at night. So what I always do when I come here is I do the show here and have a few drinks, and then I walk back to the hotel, and it's not that far away from the hotel. So I just walk an extra block or two and walk into his studio, and we drink beer, and I watch him weld shit up.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, and he makes all kinds of sculptures out of just junk and things. So, he's great.
Do you have any other relationships like that? Easy for me to say. In other towns across the globe that because you're all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, typically when I come back to the States, I'll just book shows where I want to see people, and I mean, obviously I have a history with Acme, and
right,
and I'll play Seattle, I'll play Spokane.
You lived in Seattle?
Yeah, I lived in Seattle, so I have a bit of relationship there, and then I was going to play up in Calgary a while back. But the money was so amazingly shit that I just said I can't justify this. I just can't. It'd be cheaper for me to drive up here on my own dime than to do 5 shows for the money you're going to pay me. And their attitude was like, well, all right, okay, fine. So and then same thing in the UK. I mean I played. There's a club in Amsterdam called Toomler. And it's all in Dutch, but 6 weeks in the summer they do English-speaking comedy, and I've done it for years. And I was there last summer, and they're interviewing me for this Dutch online comedy channel thing. And the gal's talking to me, and she goes, She's like, oh, yes, Dave, you come here and this, that. And we're walking around Amsterdam, there's all the different spots. And she goes, yes, Dave, there's one English-speaking comedian who has done the Tumler Comedy Train International 14 years in a row. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, do you know who that is? And I kind of went, who would that be? And I went, oh, my God, it's me.
Yeah.
And she went, yes, it's you. You have done this 14 years in a row. And as soon as I heard that, I thought, that's it. They're not going to ask me back. Why would you?
Oh, no.
Yeah. And even though I come up with new material every time and the owners are cool and stuff like this, yeah, I'm like, shit.
No.
So I didn't even bother them to get on this year. And I sent them an email. I said, yeah, obviously I'm not there, blah, blah, blah. Enjoy that. And they're like, yeah, we'll miss you. And there are people who show up every year to see me. So I'm really curious to see how many people will walk in and go, where's Dave?
Son of a bitch.
Where's Dave?
Yeah.
And they were
how much time do you have to take off to go back?
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it because I was talking to a buddy of mine, Vic Hanley. I told him about it. And he goes, well, look at it this way, Dave. Is you'll come back, you'll take a year off and come back, and they'll be happy to see you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, totally. But it's cool. You stay at the Amsterdam Hilton, and you're in fucking Amsterdam for 4 nights.
Yeah.
So the very first time I ever played the club, I'll never forget the manager, Ava. We're sitting there talking. She's like, yes, we'll give you the food, and that's good, but and here's some drink tickets, and I just let you know, your first 6 drinks are free, but then you have to pay for them. I'm like, first 6 drinks? Wow.
It's better than first class.
Yeah, if I get to 7, then yeah, I'll pay. So, no, it's a really great club. As a matter of fact, this summer, Tom Rhodes is going to be playing it for the first time in years, 10 years.
I saw you, speaking of Facebook, I think you wrote that on Facebook.
Yeah,
You're buddies with Tom.
Yeah, he's doing the Edinburgh Fringe Festival this year for the first time ever, doing a solo show. I've done it 5 times and was asked back to do it again, but I turned it down because I'm going to do it looks like I'm going to do a film in August. So, but so I wish him luck. He's like, oh man, I've been really scared to do it. That's what he should tell me. He probably denies that now. Yeah. So, but
Tom Rhodes is too cool for school, man.
He sure thinks so.
I love him. He was just here, a month ago or something.
Yeah.
This is a name, like I told you, I often listen back, if I have repeat guests here, I listen back to the first episode, kind of, so we don't cover too many things, twice. And there was a name that you mentioned, and he's since passed away. Bob Hoskins.
Yeah.
You mentioned him on the first time we did the podcast.
Yeah, we did.
Just recently, he passed away.
We did a film together. I have an uncredited bit part in this film called Ruby Blue. I threw him out of a bar, and then he just died at 71, had a pneumonia. And my wife was in a movie with him, and I got drunk with him, and he was an absolute joy. And 71. You're like, holy shit, man, that's pretty young.
So drunk Bob Hoskins was fun.
Drunk Bob Hoskins was fun. Did I tell you the Roger Rabbit story with Bob?
No, I don't know.
Oh man, because we did this bit part, and I was going to leave. It was a 2-hour motorcycle ride where they were filming this thing, and I said, "Hey, nice to meet you," this and that, and I said, "I saw you in this great film called Inserts," and he was like, "Oh, sit down, are you leaving? Come on," So we ended up drinking a couple of bottles of wine, and so I never brought up any of the big films he's done. I was talking about all the other stuff, because all the English love him, and Long Good Friday, which is a great film. and I mentioned Roger Rabbit, and he was telling me 2 stories about Roger Rabbit. He was telling me is first off, Christopher Lloyd, who played the bad guy in it. He said, yeah, he showed up one day. He showed up and he had like a scratch on his cheek or or a bruise on his neck or on his arm, and this is going on for like a week or so. And the makeup people are working hard to cover the fucking blemishes. And the director walks over, and I can't remember who the director was, and says, "Hey, Chris, what's going on, man? You're coming up, you're showing up in the morning, kind of beat up. What's going on?" And Christopher Lloyd goes, "Well, I've got these 2 women that are in my hotel room, and one of them's a bit rough, So yeah, And the director goes, "Well, look, we got a budget here, and we got a job here to do, so you better sort this out." Chris is like, "Yeah, I'll get her to leave. I'll get that one to leave. I'll get that one to leave, right?" So the next day he shows up and he has 2 black eyes.
What? No way.
Yeah.
No.
And so the director walks over to him, and it's because he's sitting next to the makeup tables with Bob.
Yeah.
And the director walks over to Christopher Lloyd and goes, "Chris, what's going on here, man? I thought you were gonna ask one of those girls to leave." And he goes, Yeah. Problem is, I asked the wrong one. The rough one stayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? He didn't know which one was which?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, you know.
Leave a light on next time.
Which is cool, because then you realize fucking Chris Lloyd's into some rough sex, man. I mean, he likes
Reverend Jim.
Yeah, he likes to get beat up a bit.
Wow.
You know? Yeah. The guy who's the executive producer on Modern Family likes it, with some pain.
But that's gonna pop into my head when I finally watch. I have 2 daughters. I don't think they've seen Roger Rabbit yet. I love that as a kid, so I will be watching it with them someday.
Well, you know, he was also telling me that the first day of shooting, Charles Fleischer shows up, who did the voice.
Yep.
Yeah, and so he shows up, and they're all setting that stuff up, and they're going to do what was it? The first scene was in Bob Hoskins' flat, you know, and he's choking the bunny out, but it's just it's a hose with a pipe that squirts him in the face, and they're going to obviously add in later in post. And so Charles shows up, and he's like, "Yeah, where's my bunny suit?" And the director's going, "What?" He's like, "I'm the voice of the bunny, right?" Roger, like, "Yeah, I need a bunny suit." And and everybody's like real quiet, and the director goes, "Charles, you're not in the movie. You're just doing the voice."
Oh, no.
And Charles goes, "I know that, but I have to have a bunny suit. You want me in character? I need a bunny suit." And I'm like, "Okay, well, we'll sort that out for you." You know? And so they shot that day, and the next day, they got a full bunny suit, top to bottom, ears.
Really?
Yeah, with the hands and, in the mitts and the little bunny feet, covered entire body except for the head, what you now call a onesie. They got Charles,
really?
this bunny onesie, and he did the entire thing wearing this bunny suit, and he didn't take it off during the day. And Charles was always complaining about back problems, so he would go to the pharmacist and ask for painkillers and shit in a fucking bunny suit,
And the pharmacist would hand out
the pharmacist like
pills to a...
Okay, just get him out of here. But
laws must be different.
Yeah, but Bob said, so think about that when you watch Roger Rabbit. The entire time, everybody's acting, Bob Hoskins, all 9 yards, and they're doing all the voices. All the actors are off screen. I mean, including, Kathleen Turner. She was off camera as well, but she's doing the voice. So he's acting to this, this figure, but he can hear what she's saying.
Yeah.
So that's how they're able to do it in real time. They didn't have to do the ADR. So think about that. When they're doing all those scenes with Roger Rabbit and him, Charles Fleischer is just off camera dressed as a bunny. Yeah, amazing. So this is the kind of shit that Bob told me, and I'm so glad I met him and I was able to hear those stories before he died.
No, you definitely didn't tell that story last time. That's
cool.
Fantastic. That's method acting. Completely, right?
You're just a fucking weirdo.
Just fucking weirdo. Well, since we were talking about acting, let's get to some of your stuff.
Oh, man. Yeah. Because I've been, I think I talked about doing films, actually writing and directing films.
Yes, let's go to that first. You had some short films.
Yeah.
And the plan was, at the time in 2012 when we last talked, that you were going to try to get them together maybe in like
as a feature.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's kind of come to be. We had a bit of a hiccup with the executive producer, no names mentioned, and and the plan was to do 6 or 7, and then link them together with a host, kind of like we're going to call it Tales from the Back of the Pub. And so I did my 5th one in November, really great one with these 2 actors, Roger Evans and Joanna Hartley. Did you ever see the movie This Is England at all? Anyway,
no.
But just amazing. And it's essentially about a husband that goes down into the cellar and digs up the wife he murdered a month earlier and has a conversation with her because he misses her. And it's an inner dialogue in his head, but she responds in kind. She's all pale and stuff. Not like zombie pale, but, that kind of stuff. Uh-huh. And then when he gets done, he's like, well, I got to pick the kids up. And he puts her back in the body bag and, buries her again. So, yeah, dark. So, and all the stuff is like that. None of it's, all my comedy is not Seth Rogen kind of stuff. It's all very, really? Am I supposed to laugh at this? That kind of stuff.
Sure.
So this other program came out on one of the channels in England that he felt that it was close to what we were trying to do. I disagreed. We got in a huge argument.
Oh.
And so my problem is I come from a background of, really? Fuck you, I'm gone. As opposed to, I'll do anything to keep making this happen or whatever. I was just, and some people don't understand that. They don't understand that if you push, especially comedians, because we're self-employed, that if you go, well, you're doing it this way, and if you don't like it, you can fuck off. And comics go, all right, bye.
Yeah.
You know, if you push us to the point that there is, you know, it's either my way or the highway, comics will go, I'm on the highway. You know?
Yeah.
And at least the old ones do. Maybe new ones now are like, yeah, all right, I'll suck your cock, let's go. So, so anyway, yeah, and we had a bit of a falling on that, but in the end, you know, it was we kind of did a reboot and I came up with a way to link all the shorts together, and so we're going to shoot the next short in about a month or so, and then
awesome.
Yeah, and the links, and then it'll be released this fall under the title Bad Times.
Oh, okay.
Written, directed by me. and then I'm working with some people at Universal in LA on a horror film of all things. And so on two ideas. One is in the developmental stages, and the other one is I'm writing right now. And it's really tough to write a horror film and not put jokes in. You know, I do, but because I love Cabin in the Woods. I thought Cabin in the Woods was amazing. Mm-hmm. And Slither, you know, James Gunn's thing was amazing. It was what it was. Tough to market those things, though. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying not to lean too much to that and still get the blood and the guts and gore. So it's a great challenge.
Why you? Why are you and not somebody else?
I have no idea. Dude, I don't even, you know, I've never been one of these guys with a 5-year career plan. I mean, you know, I'll do this, I'll market myself this way, I'll get this going. I mean, even the comics now that you would look at them and go, oh, it's just big happy accident why they're famous. They're not. I mean, like Stanhope is one of the most brilliant marketers I've ever met. That guy was on ball, on point the whole time, and has sold the world on the idea that it was all happy accident. I mean, he used to get people on mailing lists, and he was, you know, one of the first guys on MySpace and it's Facebook and, you know, website. And, you know, so he comes to town and, you know, he's one of these guys. And and he gets there and you just seem like, oh, I've discovered him. No, he meant for you to find him.
Interesting.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's brilliant at that.
Yeah.
To the point now he probably regrets his success. You know? So
doesn't he still have a place in the...
He's in Bisbee, Arizona.
Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah, same with... But I am more of a happy accident. And I mean, I love writing, and people have kind of picked up on that, and I'm trying to exploit that more. And but movie-wise, this year I was in a western. There's a western called Blood Moon. It's like a $3 million film they shot in the UK. It takes place in 1880, and I ride shotgun on a stagecoach.
I saw the picture.
Yeah.
You look good in the cowboy hat.
Dude, that was, you know, it was so weird to be hanging around all these English people that when the camera's off, they're like, you know, right, and action. So, Billy Sue, where are we going? You know, you're just like, what? You know? Yeah, because there's a real prejudice against Americans there anyway. I've run into criticism is like, Dave, we'd love to use you for the show to host this, but you got the wrong passport. You have the wrong accent. We don't hire Americans.
Yeah.
You know, they'll hire Brits with an American accent, but it's not the other way around. And I got hired this because A, the way I look, and B, I'm a Yank, and they wanted some authenticity to the whole thing.
Now, who was the other guy? He's a comic as well.
Yeah, Tony Law, who's piss funny. He's a surreal comic. Great guy, Canadian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, another one of those anthropological experiments where he started doing stand-up in the UK. So he's never known what it was like to trudge across Canada and America, you know, slinging jokes to, you know, rednecks and shit like that. So he started there. So he has this amazing outlook on the whole biz, and it works for him, you know, and just a super guy. And it was cool hanging with another stand-up on set, because we're watching all these actors and stuff, and everybody's really giving, and they're kind of messing around, we're laughing, and I looked at Tony, I'm like, this is really fun, man. He's like, yeah, this is not like sitting in a green room with a bunch of backbiting sons of bitches, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody here really wants to do this, and they're very creative, and they're very giving, and I went, wow, you know? So, yeah.
Where's that thing going to end up? Where will people see that?
I know it's in post right now, and it'll probably come out, you know, sometime this winter, and I'm sure they'll do an international release. It won't be like at the Odeon, but it'll come up, and if you're a horror fan, it'll be on the horizon. So there's that, and then you know, like I never claimed to be an actor or whatever. I'm just a really good liar, and you know, I took a couple courses years and years ago, and I have a great respect for it. My problem with it, I can't be an actor because I look at guys like, you know, the late Philip Seymour Hoffman or, you know, Steve Buscemi or, you know, all these other guys, and you just go, fuck, you're good,
yeah,
you know? And
right.
I'll never be that good. You know, like Michael Fassbender, holy shit, can that guy fucking throw down,
yeah.
you know? and you want to be that, but you're like, I can't, hold that. And so, and then when it happens, I've always never want to get over my head. Hey, we want to do a whole sitcom centered around you. You're an idiot. That's never going to happen. You're a fucking idiot. So we're shooting this pilot for Comedy Central, and I have this bit part. I play this, a grizzled fucking guy running a dive bar in Miami, and they're shooting it in London. So yeah, I don't know where it's going to go, and I didn't have to sign any non-disclosure agreement, so I can tell you if it happens.
No.
But yeah, we did a big table reading, and they liked it, and we'll see where it goes. But I have like 2 scenes, yeah, but around some really, really funny people, and I might be shooting another film in Geneva in August.
Geneva?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they got a hold of my agent in London, and they said, hey, we saw Dave on this, and we like the way he looks, and blah, blah, blah. We're going to shoot this little featurette, which is under an hour, and we're looking at funding, so I had to give a letter of intent, which means, yeah, I'll do it. It doesn't mean you have to clear your schedule. And I said, what's my part? And they go, you play a 50-year-old American banker who's burnt out. And I went,
you're getting typecast,
Dave. Thank you.
Which part's a compliment? Yeah. All of it?
I guess I don't have to get I'm ready. There we go. Yeah, don't have to shave. Thank you.
Am I grizzled enough today?
Yeah. Oh my God. It was funny. I was doing the makeup for Blood Moon, and the makeup gals who were hot, and they were kind of talking to me, and like, oh, we had this discussion, and you remind us of Sam Elliott from Roadhouse, which I don't get at all ever. But when somebody tells you that, you're like, that's the coolest fucking guy in that movie, is Sam Elliott from Roadhouse.
No question.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'll take that. Yeah. I don't deserve that, but I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, why would you say that? I go, well, we saw you ride up in your chopper, and you kind of, I went, and you're, kind of weathered, and I went, yeah, I'm there.
Nice.
I'm totally there.
Yeah.
Does it mean I have to kick some guy's knee out, and say Patrick Swayze before he dies of pancreatic cancer because he can't stop smoking? So.
Can you do the voice, though?
Hurts, don't it? So, it's funny when my wife, who is an actress, before I did this Western, she's, I'm reading the part. She's like, no, don't do that. I'm not, she's like, hey, come on, Yancey, we got to get this stage. And she's like, no, just do your straight voice. Just do the straight voice because you have kind of a, because you're from the West anyway, and that's how you talk. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, okay, straight voice, play a straight voice. I show up the first day of shooting, and everybody's there. It's like, so anyway, I think we ought to go down to that. I'm like,
oh no.
Yeah, they all sound like fucking Slim Pickens and shit like that. And I'm playing it straight, And then the director, there's a scene where the guy, Tony, gets shot, and he's the driver, and I'm just riding stagecoach. So he gets shot, and we got squims and all the special effects and shit like this. And the director goes, he goes, all right, Dave, your buddy just got shot. There's no lines, but, hey, come up with something. I'm like, okay. So like, all right, and action, bang. And Tony goes down, Yancey, and the first line is they go, hey, look who got promoted. Then they cut, they do it again, right? And action, bang, it goes down. I'm like, well, I guess I'm fucking your wife, just cut, So we did like 6 of those, and finally, like, come on, man, come up with something, Yeah, but it was cool just to play around with them. It was really fun.
What is Stalled? What's that movie?
Oh, God.
Oh, should we not bring that up?
No.
Oh, okay.
Stalled is a comedy zombie horror film that takes place in a woman's bathroom. Lavatory, right? And essentially what happens is this maintenance worker gets stuck in this toilet, and a Christmas office party goes haywire where everybody turns into zombies, and he's stuck in a stall, in a toilet stall with the door barricade, trying to keep these people at bay, and eventually escapes out the back wall. So And what's cool is it's what they call one room. So most of it takes place, 90% of it takes place in this bathroom that they built. Right. And the guys who put it together, a guy named Anthony Haylock and Daniel Pickering, did an amazing job putting it together. Never got credit for it, which sucked. The guy who wrote it stars in it, Dan Palmer. Guy named CJ, directed it. And I see all this happening, and they shot, part of it at Pinewood Studios. And they wanted like a celebrity cameo, And so they came to me and they said, "Do you know anybody?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know, all the guys, the big comics in the UK." And so, "Do you think one of them would do this?" So I got a hold of this guy named Rufus Hound, who's funny and and he's on television all the time. I said, "Rufus, would you do this?" There's Cameo. You get dressed up as an English Christmas pudding, as you're kind of the joke, in a fancy dress thing, office party, and you're a zombie. And Rufus, who's, even though he's doing really well and he's game, he's like, yeah. So they keep putting it off and putting it off. And finally, they get a hold of me after Christmas, and they say, this is a couple years ago, and they go, hey, we need Rufus now for, on the 27th, 28th of December. So I get a hold of Rufus. I'm like, hey, man, can you do it? And he's like, no. My whole family's here for between Christmas and New Year's. I can't get away. I can't take 2 days out to fucking shoot this thing.
Yeah.
So I tell him, I said, he can't do it. And so I tried to find somebody else, and they couldn't do it. So they come to me like, will you do it? And I'm like, I'm not a celebrity. And at this point, they're going, well, we just need somebody to, dress up as Christmas pudding. And they're like, please, please, please. And I'm like, all right, no, don't credit me. Please don't. And they're like, no, come on.
Oh, no.
So I did. So I had to wear, like, brown tights. I got this big, bulbous kind of, It looks like I'm Mayor McFucking Cheese, and with this thing, and
spoiled.
Yeah, exactly. And I've got zombie makeup on, so I'm in like 2 scenes, and I would say it was and they were trying to take pictures of me in the makeup chair, and I said, I swear to God, I'll knock your fucking teeth out. And so I'm in the trailer of the goddamn movie.
In the tights?
Yeah, and dressed as Christmas pudding, trying to get through this door. I can't fit through the door to the toilet because I'm too wide, right? So, yeah, and so it played in Fright Fest in London last year, and people were going, "Oh my God, I saw you installed," and I said, "Yeah, I tried to Alan Smythe that, and lowest day of my life, and that kind of shit." And I mean, I hope the guys make their money back, and I would say will eventually, but it wasn't really my shining moment. Yeah,
you couldn't have said no.
No, because the guys working on, at the time, everybody working behind the camera, production-wise, not Dan and CJ, but over the exec producer, the producer, the set designer, all those guys, I consider friends, and they kind of said, can you help us? And I've always been the kind of guy that, hey, we're moving house, and, I'm there, man, I don't know why. I really don't. But, yeah. So.
Are you going to be in town in October? Because I might be moving then, and I could use a hand.
Nah. I don't know where I'll be in October.
I'll pencil you in. How about that?
All right, thanks.
All right, well, I'll give you a little notice. See what happens there.
Heads up.
I don't remember where I heard this the other day, but I was listening to the radio, and someone said, it made me come up with this question, and I'm going to pose it to you. Have you ever laughed someone into bed?
Oh, God, constantly. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, my God. Laughter is the number one social lubricant. What's that old joke about a comic being at a bar after, and a woman walks up to him and goes, oh, my God, I saw you at Acme on Friday. You were so funny. And the comic goes, first show, second show. Oldest joke ever. And, yeah, because, there's that old joke, we get the fat ugly one since they figured, oh, fuck it, he's got a sense of humor. But, yeah, man, I've used humor a lot, man. Humor helped me get laid a lot. Yeah, and long hair. But, but yeah, man, And also because we're not comics, we're incredibly insecure anyway, and we're emotionally retarded. So, which is why so many comedians' marriages fail.
How long's yours been going?
I've been with her for 14 years. And our 10-year anniversary is coming up a week from tomorrow.
Wow, congrats.
I give it another year.
Yeah, another year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Fuck, man. So, yeah, it is. I mean, I think about, I got laid a lot because of that.
Nice.
Which, by the way, a little side note for men, when you meet that special person and they go, how many partners have you had? How many girls have you been with? Don't tell them. Instead, go, oh, how many have you been with? And if they go, 14, you go, yeah, that's about right for me, too. Don't do what I did. Where I figured I'll lowball this. I was like, 240, 250, And as soon as you said, you get the, what? And then you go, well, that includes hand jobs, right? You're trying to save it. Then you just make it worse.
Right,
yeah. Hand jobs? Oh, God,
I count the random handy. Oh, I mean.
Yeah. Well, her parents didn't see. What? So.
Oh, that's great. There's I don't know, did you see this story? I want to get your thoughts on this one. There's a teacher in Oklahoma. She had a student who was doing very poorly in school until they started sleeping together.
Sweet.
And then gave him 98% on one of his tests.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which test was that? Paternity? Thank you.
So, first question: did you have a teacher that you would have?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. First, Mrs. Severson in high school. Everybody wanted her. And then,
wait, what was that name?
Mrs. Everson, Barb Everson. She was
okay. That's
hot.
real close to my last name, Severson.
Oh, really? No,
So
it's
let's
Everson.
watch. Okay.
Yeah, Barb was hot, man. And then, and then there was another girl. I can't remember her name in high school. That was good looking, and a friend of mine did better. And then,
do you think if you would have slept with Mrs.
Everson?
Everson that your grade would have improved or gone down?
No, Mrs. Everson would have never bed me. Well, no, because I was 17 and I was a dog chasing a car. There's no way. I would have got her naked and just started giggling and probably just shot my load without touching.
Right.
You know? That kind of stuff. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I mean, I got into college and, you started getting a little more educated and I did one of the junior teachers in college.
Nice.
Yeah, I wasn't taking classes from her, but yeah, I got some of that, and then I've had a few teachers since then, but yeah, that was in the 80s, so yeah, it happens. Teachers are weird ones. I wanted like to be spanked, and I hadn't really seen that, and so. Who's going to have to stay after, that kind of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, some role play stuff was pretty weird.
Was there?
Yeah.
There was no dunce hat, was there?
No. I used to. Well, when that I mean, come on, that old video from Van Halen, Hot for Teaching.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Got it made.
Yeah. So, got a bag. Yeah. I'm hot for teaching. So, yeah, I had that. But my problem was most of the time I'd be on the road, I had a big run of strippers. And to the point that it was kind of, it's like doing drugs. It's like, oh, I'm not going to buy drugs anymore. But they kept showing up, kind of thing. And, yeah. And
that's interesting. Now, strippers, meeting them in strip clubs? Because I've been...
first off, yeah, some meeting them in strip clubs, some meeting them outside of strip clubs. One of the gals I dated... I broke my heart. She became a stripper while we were dating. As a friend of mine says, I drove her to it.
Is that the part that broke your heart?
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, it was... that was a weird one because, it was like I was obsessed with her, completely. And it wasn't because she was a stripper. It's just because she just had her claws in me big time.
Sure.
And, everybody has one of those.
Yeah.
And she went on to become a licensed massage therapist. She got a degree in kinesiology, so went on to be a licensed massage therapist. And of course, this was after we'd broken up and she was off, and and I couldn't help but think, well, at least she still has the outfits that come with happy ending. But
right,
yeah, and that was one of those ones you just kind of you have to go cold turkey and just not get a hold of her ever. And then what was weird is last year she just I thought I burned all the pictures and she just popped up. On the horizon, and a friend of mine found her on Facebook, and she spends like a bunch of time in Europe and Spain and shit. So I was like, holy shit, But I'm fine. I think she'd probably walk right by me. No, I don't know. I don't know what she would do. I don't care, know. But yeah, that was kind of wild, But yeah, but I drove her to being a stripper, and then and she met and divorced her first husband from that. And then I started seeing girls who used to be, you get to talk and you do the confessional point. Oh, I said, what did you do? Well, I was a stripper for about 6 months. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
6 months means 2 years.
yeah, exactly. Uh-huh. So yeah, I gave all that up. And then when I met my wife, I told her all that kind of shit. And she used to say, shit, you used to date a lot of strippers. What does that say about me? I'm like, well, you could if you needed to, So
it's a compliment.
Yeah. Well, I always live by the idea that you don't control who you fall in love with. I mean, if you could, yeah, I who knows where I'd be, but I'm fucking stuck in England because I fell in love with an English girl. So,
I've been to strip clubs when friends of mine have left with phone numbers and whatnot, and it always is so covert. I remember one time because these gals can get in a lot of trouble if they're caught dating a paying customer.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time my buddy got the number. The girl came down from performing on the stage, came to our table, and stuck her finger in her mouth and pulled out the phone number on a piece of paper that she was hiding under her tongue.
Yeah, because, if it was up her vagina, everybody would have seen it.
It almost sounds like we set that up, but that was not set up.
My God.
I'm not making that. It really did happen.
Wow, every stripper that ever gave me their number, you get the my strip name's Candy, but her own name's Lisa. No, it isn't. Okay, you're right. It's Beth, and they were just, here's my number. Call me up.
I've never asked that second question of what. No, what's your real name?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because that is always bad. Like, I'm Venus. No, you're not Venus. What's your real name? Let's talk.
That would explain that fly trap of a pussy you have. Well, it's a big thing. I don't go to any of those. I don't go to strip clubs or any of that kind of stuff now. And
it's been a while for me.
I have a friend of mine a girl who used to bartend at a strip club, Sue, and she was great. Sue was so much fun to hang with. And she's like, yeah, anybody comes to strip clubs is fucking losers. I'm like, really? She was, yeah, it's the worst losers are the guys at the bar who tell me I don't ever come to strip clubs. Those are the worst losers ever. Because they're fucking liars.
Yeah.
And they think, well, you're attractive, but obviously you're shy because you're behind the bar, so I'm going to try to pick up on you. So, and he says, anybody comes in, anybody. Even they say, I'm just here to sit with my friends, but I don't want to fucking... They're fucking losers. If you don't want to be there, don't come there. Yeah. And I heard that, and I kind of went... Because I had friends like, come on, let's go to the strip club. And I'm like, no, man, come on, just hang. I'm all right. So I'd go. And now, she was like, yeah, you're right. I'm a fucking loser.
Yeah.
So,
you don't have to go.
No, not at all. People are like, come on, let's go to the strip club. I'm like, no. I mean, I had a friend of mine from Universal, and he comes to London a couple years ago. And we're having drinks, we're getting hammered. He's like, come on, man, let's go to fucking, strip club around here. I'm like, yeah, there's one down this alley here in Soho, in London. He's like, oh, let's go. And I'm like, no, I'm not going in. And I knew the bouncer, so I'm talking to the bouncer. I said, John, you go down, get your shit done. And I told the guys, look, he's a friend of mine, blah, blah, blah. And one of the guys who's like a distant cousin, he was like, so he takes him downstairs. 20 minutes later, he comes back up. Thanks, Dave. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'm not fucking going down there, And he says, why not? I'm like, I don't need that. Are you afraid of getting caught? Didn't give a shit. I just don't, I just don't want to be around it.
Every 20 minutes that's not very long, by the way. Things must have happened quickly for him.
Nah, he's old.
I've been doing a thing now on the podcast where I do, I get the guest thoughts on a autocomplete that I do on my phone.
Oh, okay.
So here's the one that I put in for you. Brits are, right? And then the phone based on Google's search histories, not mine, but just, worldwide or whatever, it tries to autocomplete what I was probably going to, what was going to complete that question or thought or whatever. So I just put Brits are and then left it blank, and what popped up there were two things, and I want your comments on them. One is Brits are ugly, and the other one is ignorant about America.
The first one, I don't necessarily agree with, because I live in London, so there are some smoking hot, full on point fashion bitches out there. All races, all nationalities, just like holy shit. Mm-hmm. And then, as far as like ignorant about Americans, yeah, they think we're all gun toting, rootin' tootin', shoot 'em up, arrogant. Assholes. And I always say, well, there's arrogance and there's confidence. And arrogance means, you tell people you can do it. Confidence is, you can get it done. We actually, pony up. So, yeah, they are. But I think right now, the way America's going is, I like what David Suzuki says. America right now is in a very large car heading very fast toward a brick wall, and everybody's fighting for a seat, as opposed to grabbing the wheel and turning. Yeah, and I believe that, and it's because I love the country, and you just kind of want to yell from the stands, turn the wheel, Like, really, who is listening to Ted Cruz? Who fucking is still putting a mic in front of Sarah Palin's, gob?
Right.
Why has Michelle Bachmann not been crucified for the fucking scary fag hag witch that she is?
Uh-huh.
And yet we're granting airtime to this. And I have no bones against Fox News. Fox is what it is.
Yeah.
But for the media to say, oh, yeah, the media right now is so left-wing. Really? Because that's not the shit that's getting the airtime.
Yeah.
When you got this fucking cunt down in Utah or Nevada, Bundy, who is going, I'm not paying everybody, I don't recognize the federal government. Europeans look at that and go, you're breaking the law. Fuck you. Go to jail.
Uh-huh.
You haven't paid your taxes. Fuck you. You haven't contributed to the betterment of your country. All you're doing is grazing for free on public land that we have to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And I've run into people going, well, in the Constitution it says the American government can't own any property. So yeah, and I'm like, no. Have you even ever heard of national parks?
Parks. It's the first thing I thought of when you said that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And who do you think governs all that? Who do you think is looking after that? And
who owns the Grand Canyon, asshole?
Yeah, fucking. And so I just hear this, and I'm thinking, and people quoting, well, this happened on this date, and this happened on this date, and blah, 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 this and that. And you're like, okay, if you want to rehash, past history, that's fine. But what's happening right now is this motherfucker has been grazing his cows since 1993 for free, and he owes us $1 million. If you don't pay, if I owed the government $1 million, they would seize everything I own, and make me destitute.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be serving time next to the Sammy Davis Jr. Simmer Memorial fucking jail cell for him doing the tax evasion. As they have his fucking Frank Sinatra ring behind glass. Fuck you, Bendy. Are you really trying to pull this shit off?
Yeah.
And you're calling all the crazies down, the armed militia pricks on their ATVs who are now going to ride through protected Indian land as a protest to the government, incursion. And the government is looking at this going, holy shit, this could be a fucking another full-on Waco if we don't back down.
No.
And what they don't realize is it doesn't matter how many goddamn guns you have or how many crazies you have with fucking flak jackets standing on your property eating your hot dogs. In the end, the government will just go to, they'll go to the computer and go, and click, we own everything.
Yeah.
That's it. You go to the fucking ATM and none of your cards work. You show up at your house, your power's turned off, you have no water, and you can complain all you want. And all they do is go, you owe us $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Our relatives, I've been here since then. Yeah, that's a great story. And you can tell your grandkids from your fucking deathbed at the Medicaid nursing home because nobody can afford to cover your sorry-ass, unhealthy, fucking butt. So that's what it comes down to. I'm sure if you went in and negotiated it, going, okay, what do you want? Let's work this out, blah, blah, blah. But no, they take the high road, that elitist fucking high road, and then spout on about, the slaves had it better. The blacks had it better when they were slaves. Whoa, and you see the entire kind of, right-wing media go, yeah, we probably shouldn't have backed this fucking shitbag.
No.
So, and between that, I was just reading about, the girls being kidnapped in Nigeria is just, it's horrible, fucking horrible. Here are girls who are going against, Sharia law and getting an education and being threatened on a regular basis of being not just kidnapped, but raped and murdered and shot in the head like Malaya. And then you got guys, and everybody's Twitter, you're doing the tweet, the hashtag, free our girls or whatever.
Yeah.
Save our girls. And then Ann Coulter comes back with, save our country. You fucking sick blonde. Why are not you? I want to see the entire Blood and Crips gang get together and ceremoniously initiate her by butt fucking her till she bleeds out her eyeballs. Honestly, really, Ann? This is what you're doing to sell books? You fucking sick, low-level fucking cracker bitch. And then for Rush Limbaugh to side with you, I can't believe the state of the government is this. Fuck, really? There are girls' lives at stake here. And you're using this to sell fucking hemorrhoid cream? You fucking Oxycontin junkie, you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you self-medicating son of a bitch. So, yeah, I look at that aspect of it, and I know that is essential. We have to have, the Glenn Becks and the Rush Limbaughs, and we have to have the Ann Coulter things. But one of the cool things that happened during the whole, they call it the Troubles, the IRA, They don't call it a war. I call it a warred occupation, but it's the Troubles.
The Troubles.
And I can't even get involved with that because it's not my fight. I have friends of mine who are from Northern Ireland, and they're both Catholic and Protestant and everything else, and it's not my call. Right. But one of the cool things about that, anytime they'd call in a bomb threat, people calling a bomb threat, even a fake one, they would have to address it. They have to, realize that. And they gave the IRA a code word to let the government know, no, you're really going to have a bomb, and shit's going to blow. And so I remember many times being in London, and they'd get a bomb threat, and they'd have to empty out a tube station. And you're like, wow, and everybody's out on the street, and and the fucking bomb guys show up, and they look through the whole thing. So I go and I get on the news to see if there's any kind of nothing on the news, nothing in the paper, or nothing, because the government and the media would not give these pricks the satisfaction of getting any kind of press time unless the thing actually blew
happened.
Up.
Right.
And I thought that was really smart, really smart.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you're going to go against this thing and you're not going to deliver, or you're just, trying to get attention, fuck you. This is not your time to shine.
Yeah.
So for people like Ann Coulter to, save our country, and for fucking Rush Limbaugh to say this kind of shit, it'd be great to see the media as opposed to go, can you believe what he said? Just ignore him.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a tough thing to do, because you're trying to fill in the time between, what fucking Kim Kardashian did and some other, and
the latest Justin Bieber arrest.
Yeah, Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus, who, all three of those should be chopped up and fed to cats.
You're not going to get an argument from me.
Yeah.
Where do you where do you get your American news when living over there?
Well, we do get. I watch the BBC. Channel 4 News is amazing, and it's just called Channel 4 News because they're not, because the BBC has to kind of cater to, because it's all, we pay for it through our TV licenses and things like that. And I'm not saying it's unbiased, but it is a little bit.
Okay.
Channel 4, one thing I like about Channel 4 is they'll rip into anybody, liberal or conservative. And the Jon Snow, who's been around for donkey's years, when the Obamacare thing first passed, they had one of the leaders of the Republican Party on live, and because it's 5-hour time difference. And Jon Snow goes, before we start, I just want to congratulate you on finally joining the rest of the world and incorporating some sort of national health care system with your people and taking care of your population. Just want to congratulate you for finally joining where the rest of the world has always been for years. So anyway, and the guy's like, well, no, wait. That's the thing. America's the most richest, most powerful country in the world, and yet we don't take care of our own people. And the rest of the world looks at that and just scratches their head. Like, really? What? Really? So I get it from BBC, and also Al Jazeera is actually a pretty good. You get some coverage from America there.
Really?
Yeah. The Russia Today is interesting because they tend to criticize more than report the news. But still, it's a great way. As far as print media, there's the International New York Times that comes out every day, which is about over $2, an issue per day, and it's not very thick paper.
Yeah.
But they do, they show everything happening in America that they deem important, and you can catch up on sports scores and things like that. And so there's that, and then and then of course my dad, being old school Republican, will forward me all this right wing stuff.
Oh, really?
And because
is he on email and everything?
Yeah, oh yeah. My dad's a Silver Surfer without a doubt. He's on constantly. And so he, we talk on Skype, which is great, but he, so instead of saying, can you believe this? He now will send it to me, and he'll write at the top, is this true? Kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'll go to Snopes or Mythbusters or whatever the fuck it is online and find out whether it is or not.
Right.
Yeah, so, but for the most part, because I live abroad, I'm more concerned with what's happening in Europe. And then I see what's happening in America, and I would love, if I had my choices, I'd move back to Idaho and run for office, as a state, as a for the House of Representatives or something like that.
Really?
I would, but it's a rich man's job. You can't just it's not like it used to be where you would walk from one end of the state to the other and go, I want to look after you, and and I think you need a fair voice in the House of Representatives, or whatever. You've got to be the person who's backed by special interest groups, because otherwise they nobody's going to pay attention. You're just some fucking crazy guy on top of a hill going, no, I can really help.
No, whose help you need is that guy who saw you in London via Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah. Who lives on the Isle of Guernsey, which is a tax haven, by the way. So he doesn't pay any taxes.
Oh,
yeah.
Well.
Yeah, it's like a little mini Switzerland out in the Channel Islands. So, yeah, which was also occupied by Germany. The Nazis had a little special base in the Isle of Guernsey.
I found out today that Hugo Boss,
the
designer, also designed the...
Yeah, he designed all the SS uniforms.
Yeah, you knew that.
Russell Brand went on a big kind of tirade about that. Unfortunately, what Russell Brand didn't do is he didn't read the second page of his fucking internet search, which is now Hugo Boss is made in Israel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Most of the I have some Hugo Boss stuff. Most of it says made in Israel.
Yeah.
So,
interesting.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just found this out this morning, and I'm thinking,
Which is why those SS guys look fucking sharp.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I own one suit, and it's Hugo Boss.
Oh, nice.
So,
I have a suit I had made in Hong Kong that says mine as my name, made especially for Dave Fulton in Hong Kong.
Well, $3-4?
No, it was like a couple $100, but it's a great suit. I got married in it.
Do you ever get confused at changing things over from metric to, or like the money and everything?
Well,
when you're explaining something to let's see, in
the UK,
2 feet? No.
In the UK, it's miles an hour and all that kind of stuff. There's no kilometers per hour and that kind of stuff. But all the temperature is in Celsius.
Yeah.
So you get an idea of roughly where it is. I mean, I know from ice climbing that 40 below Celsius is 40 below Fahrenheit. They meet up, and I've been in Dubai when it was 50 degrees Celsius, which is about 140 whatever, which is scary, stupid hot. But as far as like the money exchange rate, right now it's actually really good. For me, a British pound is sitting at I think $1.68. It was 2 to 1 a bunch of years ago, but 6 months ago it was sitting at about $1.45. So the dollar's getting weaker. Yeah, dollar's weakening, and the pound is getting stronger. So, but no, otherwise, I mean, you just work through it all the time, and you just you never get confused. So,
I want to wrap things up.
Oh, the only thing that pisses me off is because I ride motorcycles everywhere, and I fill up. It's all in liters. So people go like, "Oh, what's the mileage you get on your bike? How many miles a gallon?" I don't know.
I don't know, and I'm not going to figure it out.
Yeah, well, I do know gasoline over there works out to almost $9 a gallon.
Really?
Really.
I was bragging yesterday with 2 coupons. I paid $3.27 per gallon.
I paid $3.30 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I owe $3.30. Yeah. Yeah, I tell people I got friends of mine back in London would kick a fucking nun to death for $3.50.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe bring some of that back.
I don't think the TSA would let me have that one.
Probably not. What's that smell? Just dip a bunch of rags.
I brought Everclear over. Every now and then they pop me for that, but I've bought more Everclear over than they've caught.
Really?
I got caught once with Everclear, but all the other times I was able to bring Everclear over.
And you can't just slam that down. You have to dump it out and leave it.
No, they just take it.
Yeah.
I mean, Everclear, it's redneck roofie time.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Before we're done here, I want to talk a little sports with you. Now, you said you're not a huge sports fan, but...
Well, the sports I do is not like, team sports. I ice climb, I rock climb, I snowboard.
Manly shit is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I saw those pictures on Facebook of you with the frickin' snowboard and the ice pick.
Oh, yeah, coming down the Cosmic Couloir.
That looks amazing.
That was amazing. I was a 45, 50-degree slope. That was the steepest I've ever snowboarded, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Where was that?
That was in the French Alps, outside of Chamonix, France, off the Guy de Midi. Yeah, sorry. Bonsoir.
All right, I'm going to read this to you and I'll get your thoughts on it. Former New York Giants safety, so football player, his name's Tyler Sash. He was arrested Saturday morning in Iowa after leading police on a drunken scooter chase.
Sweet.
And then being tased.
Nice.
Yes. He was charged with public intoxication and interference with official acts by police in Oskaloosa, Iowa. He, he was riding the motorized scooter with its lights off, and they asked him to stop. He refused on multiple occasions, leading police on a 4-block chase, and leaving the scooter and fleeing on foot, which was probably faster than that scooter since he was in the NFL. They eventually found him hiding in a tree, and the 25-year-old refused to come out. They then shot him with a taser.
You know how that was? He was drunk on a scooter. they saw some big guy. It probably thought, holy shit, is this circus in town? What the fuck? And they pull up next to him, so they pull over. So he's drunk, and he looked at them and went, fuck you, you know? Shit like that. That's the kind of stuff that I hear about in London. Guys like, example, I was in Newcastle, which is the northeastern part of England. And I'm staying at the hotel, working this really great club called The Stand. So it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday night, I do the show, but I come back to the hotel. 3 o'clock in the morning, I hear this noise outside in the courtyard. And I open the curtains, and there's a guy standing in a dumpster with wheels on it. Mm-hmm. He's playing a trumpet, and his friend is pushing him around the courtyard while he's playing a trumpet, you know? You just wonder the thought process, you know? Just hammered and go, hey, there's a dumpster, man. Oh, my God, I got that trumpet. Let's fucking... You know, so here you get a guy who's gets on this little scooter. In his mind, this is the best idea he's had all day. Mm-hmm. And the cops are just killing his buzz, you know? I think it's hilarious. I mean, because the way the cops are, then we pursued him for 4 blocks. You know, no, he's this big fucking lummox circus-looking prick who won't pull over on the scooter with no lights. Yeah,
I picture that the chase. They actually take a turn and just meet him down 4 blocks away.
I'm sure at one point in the cop car, they're like, you know, if we go any slower, the car's going to stall out.
Yeah, no kidding.
Maybe we should pull off ahead of him. Yeah.
Oh, here's a little more about our pal Tyler Sash. He was he's not in the NFL anymore. He was a 6th round draft pick. He played at Iowa, but he was suspended in 2012 for violating the NFL's policy on performance-enhancing substances. So,
obviously not alcohol. Well, you know what? There's a great thing about America is there's always hope. You don't believe me? 2 words. Michael Vick. Mm-hmm. All right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the guy's actually raising dogs again, for Christ's sakes.
He's not with the Vikings, but there was talk. Some people really wanted him to be a Viking this upcoming season.
Yeah.
Now, you lived in Seattle, and you were telling me that you watched Seattle are Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, that was it's not like I'm a huge American football fan. I've been to a couple games, and you know, it's great fun, and because you know, Seattle has worked very hard with Paul Allen and the rest of Seahawks. They came, you know, they were in the playoffs. They made a Super Bowl once before, never won it.
Yeah.
And Denver, I fucking hate Denver. You know, to me, they're the fucking Yankees of American football.
Oh, no. I love the Broncos.
Really?
You're killing me, man.
Yeah, I'm not a fan at all.
No.
And and that's the thing. Seattle's always not like the Broncos. Always. And I mean, dating all the way back to fucking hee-haw quarterback. So I stay up late because of the time differences, and okay, fine, pre-band. But the cool thing about it was there was no commercials because all the stuff they sold was not sold internationally. All the the $1 million per second commercials they had, wouldn't translate. They had no license to do them in the UK. So in between the plays, when you guys are watching, whatever, fucking Bob Dylan or something.
There were 2 Bob Dylan commercials.
Yeah, we didn't see any of that. Instead, they get done with the play, and they would break to a box that was actually at the stadium, where they had I can't remember the guy's name. He's Canadian, but he really knows the sports, and he used to do a late night sports show in the UK. And they had an American football player, and then they had an English guy who's a huge fan of American football, and they're just talking about the play. Well, you should have done this. What do you think of that? Well, let's all do this again. So. And then they go, okay, let's go back down to the field. And so it was riveting. I mean, because I hate commercials anyway, and even more so now that I don't live here. And so it was like, wow. So I ended up staying up later, and I probably would have. And I was like, wow, this is really great. And so I'm on Twitter going, this is the best ever. And friends are like, fucking this, fuck that, look at this, I hate that commercial. Who's that guy I think he's doing?
Right.
And I put on like, no commercials here, no commercials here. And, and people are like, I hate you, this. And so, yeah. And I initially, my wife goes to bed. I said, well, I'll watch a little bit of it, and see where this goes. Because everybody, all the hashtags are like, Denver by 10, Denver by, 11, 14, to, Seattle by 3, that kind of stuff. That was all boom, 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 boom. And I put $100. I put, God, what was that? I put like 10 quid, because it was 10 to 1 to Seattle to take it from the place I went. And I said, yeah, Seattle to win. And the guy's like, all right, And the shutout was 100 to 1, and I'm like, no, it never happened. And so, so I'm watching this, and then the first kickoff, and they get the fucking free safety on that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is this? Holy shit. And I was just hooked. And
it was a surprise from the beginning.
Oh, yeah, right from the beginning. And then when it went to the third quarter, and by the way, the halftime show, I mean, we saw that, but because they weren't doing the live feed with some of the other ones, they were, kind of cut between all that. It was kind of, wow, this is, Bruno Mars, really? This is all you could get, I mean, Bruno's done great, for an Hawaiian guy, but come on, really?
I've never heard of him. He's done great for a Hawaiian guy.
Yeah, I'm sure Kermit Apio was overjoyed. So, yeah, and then come third quarter, when it was still a shutout, now I have a pillow over my face yelling at the TV because I don't want to wake up the house. Because I didn't put fucking 5 pounds down on the 100-1 shutout. And I'm like, I can't sit here to the end and watch this. I know the Seahawks are going to win. There's no way Denver's going to come back on this.
Yeah,
but I can't sit here and watch that money because I actually had the gal at William Hill, which is the betting place, look at me and go, "Oh, come on, put a $5 on the shutout." I mean, so what? It's a $5. You know,
yeah.
It's a pint of beer and some potato chips. Nah, it's all right, because I've been fouled. I don't know. And I'm like, fuck. So when I wake up and check the scores, I'm like, okay, Then I start checking the odds on the point spreads and just the long shots on the spreads. I'm like, fuck, which is, and I love the high scoring because you watch football matches or soccer matches over there, and they're like back and forth, and 90 minutes later with 3 minutes of overtime. And there are no scores.
Yeah. 0-0.
0-0,
No.
And they're like all shaking hands, Arsenal has now retained their deal. And because it's all a points thing, you'll be in a pub and they'll watch that and they're like, okay, 0-0. And then they'll turn to another screen and they'll see like Newcastle playing, Tottenham, and Tottenham will score. And I'm like, fuck, Arsenal just went up one. I'm like, but they didn't score. How are you working this out in your head? There's 137 teams or some shit like that. And these guys who, and hats off. They're like, well, if he gets this and this and this, and they'll be in the points leader. I'm like, what? And do you like Man City? No, I fucking hate Man City. It's a goddamn Middle Eastern guy just fucking wrote checks for players and he bought the fucking championship.
Oh, the Yankees.
them. And then there's like, what about Man U? Well, Alex Ferguson left and they hired this other guy and he's not going to get his £5 million bonus because they're at the bottom of the league and all that kind of shit. And the thing is, because you think they're passionate around here about this, and in the UK, families, you inherit a team. Dad's a fucking Arsenal fan. You're an Arsenal fan. That kind of shit. Even the shitty teams. Or the team's not doing it, like Sheffield Wednesday or something like that. I've been following Sheffield Wednesday for this and that. And so you can be in a pub, and watch your team and be in because my local pub's an Arsenal pub, and you can go in there and be Chelsea be playing or something like that. And you're like, yeah, fucking Chelsea. And then you have these guys in Arsenal looking going, mate, you better leave. Because we're going to drag you outside and beat the shit out of you.
Wow.
Yeah. They're that passionate about it. So,
I thought college football was hard to keep up with all the teams. But
they have amazing heroes, and a legacy of heroes like George Best, one of the great all-time players. And played, Manchester United, and he's a Northern Irish guy. There's a really great story, and everybody's here in the UK, they don't give a shit, where he's at the Savoy Hotel in London, which is like right up there. And he calls for room service, and the guy wheels in all this booze, and he looks at George Best, and George Best is naked in bed with 2 naked models, and they're ordering more champagne. And the guy giving the room service looks at George and goes, George, where did it all go wrong for you?
It hasn't.
Yeah, but he's dead from alcohol poisoning.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, at least he wasn't on a scooter being tased in a tree.
That's true. Dave, thank you.
Thank you, man.
Continued success, sir.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks.